Hi, Harini ma'am. Welcome to the L-Cube show.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. Yeah.
It's-
So, viewers, today we have Harini ma'am. She's a spiritual speaker. We're going to do a lot of podcasts in the future with her to learn a lot about her. She's a ocean of knowledge regarding Bhagavatam and Ramayanam and Mahabharatam. So today, our topic is like to understand where this creation has actually started from, according to Bhagavata Purana. So, Harini ma'am, first tell us about yourself a bit before we get into the topic.
Namaskaram to
Namaskar.
all viewers and to Ms. Pratyusha. It
Thank
was very nice to know you actually.
Thank you.
I am Harini, as you introduced. I am a spiritual speaker. I give discourses on Ramayana, Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam, and a particular part of Dasa Sahitya too.
Okay.
So, coming under the framework of Madhva philosophy,
Mhm.
we have a very different perspective to all these concepts, which are Itihasa and Puranas.
So, what is Madhava Sampradaya? Please tell me about Madhava
It's
Sampradaya.
Madhva Sampradaya.
Ma-
So,
Repeat that again.
Madhva,
Madhva Sampradaya.
yes.
Okay.
This philosophy was actually given by Jagadguru Sri Madhvacharya. He was some 1300 years back. It was him who had contributed to the world by giving us this philosophy of duality. The philosophy is what we call as Dvaita philosophy, just like Advaita philosophy and Visishtha Dvaita philosophy.
Okay.
This is Dvaita philosophy,
Okay.
the philosophy which believes in duality, which
Mhm.
means that there is a great difference between the Supreme Lord and us who are Jivatma. So we are a very dependent creature on that Paramatma.
Yes.
So this concept of duality was actually coined by Jagadguru Sri Madhvacharya, and he is the propagator of that philosophy. He was the propagator of that philosophy too.
So, was he in the lineage of Ramanujacharya? Was from that
No.
lineage? No.
He was not in the lineage of Ramanujacharya. He was after them,
Okay. After Ramanujacharya.
a little period after Ramanujacharya.
But he believed in Madhvacharya as well, right?
Ramanujacharya, no. Madhvacharya, the principle of Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya are completely, entirely different philosophies.
Okay.
Ramanujacharya belongs to this Visishtadvaita principle,
Okay.
whereas Madhvacharya believed in the concept of duality, which is what we call as Dvaita philosophy.
Okay, so if you don't mind, really, can you explain the Visishta Advaita as well? What is it? Little difference?
Yeah, little bit. I just
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
just pierce a point on
So
it.
before we get in the topic, if you just touch that so that the viewers can understand
Yes,
what
of
it
course,
is we're talking
definitely.
about.
I'll just pierce a small fact on it.
Mhm.
According to the philosophy of Visishtadvaita, after the person attains moksha, the ultimate salvation, he merges into the Paramatma. He becomes the Paramatma.
Okay.
So until then, there is a difference between the Jivatma and Paramatma. But
Okay.
after he gets a salvation, the Jivatma and Paramatma merge into each other.
Okay.
And as per the philosophy of Madhvacharya, there is always a difference between the Jivatma and the Paramatma. Nevertheless, the Jivatma has achieved the salvation. Even though he has achieved salvation, it is because of that Supreme Lord. So he is entitled to be the Dasa, to be the dependent one of the Supreme Lord, which is a bit of a difference
Yeah.
between these two philosophical concepts.
Little bit difference actually. It makes the
Yes.
same ending, but
But when you, a little bit difference.
yeah.
So, there are so many more, but just on the whole, I just wanted to say this.
Yeah. So, ma'am, do you generally do all these discourses like how long have you been doing these discourses about like?
This is probably around. Actually, it is more than 5 years, but in the recent 5 years, it has been very often. It is
Okay.
very often I am doing it. Even
Okay.
before 5 years, I had been rendering discourses, but that was on a seldom basis. But in the last 5 years, it has been professionally turned out.
Ma'am, do you think there is a difference in the world that the youth at this moment also wants to learn about the spirituality and wants to learn about the roots more. Is that why you had to come out in these last 5 years?
No, definitely. There is definitely a difference if you consider just 10 years back,
Yes.
approximately in 2013-14, this much of what I call the interest was lacking in the youth. But today, youth are actually very inclined towards learning what is in Sanatana Dharma, what are the various concepts in it, how our ancestors have portrayed, have been so great, and all those. So,
Yeah.
definitely, there has been an upsurge in spirituality, is what I would say.
Yeah.
But then, even though there is an upsurge in spirituality, there are again a part of people, or I could say a part of, especially if you take India, uh, there is this secularism which has completely uh, become like an umbrella, so that they cannot break that umbrella ceiling, and then come out of it. It's because a lot of people are, they think that if we follow Sanatana Dharma utterly strictly, then it is restricting them some way in going with the concept of secularism. Because following our own dharma does not affect secularism.
Yes, it does not.
But that concept of secularism is, in many cases, is not understood by a lot of people, especially what you call the Gen Z, I would say, because they think following a particular dharma in which we belong to will actually make them a non-secular person.
Like make them
So
into a particular, segregate them into particular type of people, and they won't be able to.
I just don't want to say segregate them, but they have a hesitation to follow it, hesitation to accept some of the facts which are underlying facts of the dharma, etc.
Okay.
And primarily, it may be because of the influence of the Western culture, we could say, which
Yes.
has which is the primary reason.
Yes.
The people who strictly adhere to Sanatana Dharma, it has been an always a declining graph.
Yeah, that could be because of the education system we have been adopting from the past
Yes.
75 to 100 years.
More than 75 years.
More than
Yes, yes.
easily 100
Literally.
years. So to
Literally.
to at least bring enlightening to all those people, ma'am. People like you are doing such a great service, and I'm really glad that you're on my show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This is a really important topic, ma'am, because it all comes back to where it all started from. And they would like
Yes.
to know, even if you do believe in it later, or if you do not want to, take it in, but still they do want to know. So, how
Yes.
the universe has started, ma'am? How do you think this all started according to Bhagavata Purana?
Yeah, I just want to highlight some facts before we move on to this topic.
Okay.
The one is why it is important to understand the creation, what you call the creation or Srishti of the entire universe. See, we all know that there is someone above us who is the supreme deity.
Yes.
We all believe in it, right?
Yes.
What makes us different from others is the devotion we have towards him.
Yes.
That is the only differentiating factor between various bhaktas, various devotees
Yes.
of the Supreme Lord Vishnu.
Yeah.
Now, a refined devotion, for a refined devotion, it is very important to know about the greatness of that God. For example, you have a teacher. How will you develop an closeness, or I would say, how will you develop interest, and how will you praise the teacher? It is mainly because you are inspired by some of the greatness of the teacher. It's because they have shown us some greatness.
Yes.
That is why some of the teachers are close to us, and some of the teachers are not so close, or we are not so inspired by them.
Yes.
So the inspiration we get on people is mainly because of the greatness that they have shown.
Yes.
Likewise, this creation of the entire universe is one such topic where the Supreme Lord has shown us his greatness. So by understanding this greatness, we will definitely get inspired and devoted to him. So that is a backlying, underlying reason why we should understand this creation. Because, see, if someone can take over the duty of a mother, someone can take over the duty of a father, but no one can replace the God by doing us the creation of the universe, right?
Yes. Yes.
So this greatness which he has shown to us, or he has done for us is such a greatness which has been which he can do and no one else can.
Yes.
So an irreplaceable greatness that he has shown us. So, and this greatness or significance is what makes us devote to him more. So
Yeah.
understanding the creation is very important
So
on
that-
one aspect.
Yeah, like because you're amazed by what is happening around you, right? Like how is the
Yeah.
earth round and we're not falling down, and the gravity and all the planets going in the same pace all the time, everything, all this creation.
Definitely. Aren't you amazed by it?
Yeah. That's where the whole question starts.
Yes. So we are definitely amazed by it.
Yeah.
And as per my perception, along with the amazement, we should know how much God has helped us by
Yes.
doing this creation.
Yes.
When a particular action takes place, there should be a reason behind it. Either the reason should benefit the person who is doing the action,
Mm-hmm.
or the reason should benefit the person for whom the action is done. So we have two things here. Now, God Vishnu has created this entire universe. Does he have any expectation, or did he need it? Because for him, did he create it for him?
No.
If this question arises, was it a necessity for him to create? If this question arises, it's an exact no. Because he was one person who existed even before creation.
Yes.
So he can exist in an, I would say, a non-disclosable place even before creation. So he need not need us.
Yes.
We need him.
Yes.
Then why did he create all these, so many people, so many trees, and so many rivers and everything, so many solar system, planets? Why did he create when he did not need it?
Yeah.
Then there is one more reason, which is he created it for us.
Yes.
If he is not benefited by it, then the benefit should be for someone else, and that benefit is for.
Yes.
See, we jivas are ever existing, but this jivatma, it cannot perform anything on its own. It needs a body which is made up of the 5 elements, the fire and the 5 elements.
Yes.
It needs a body to perform any task, be it a materialistic task or a spiritual task.
Okay.
Right. So, if the universe is not created, how could we be?
Yeah.
How could we get this physic or a body which is made up of the 5 elements? So, the creation has actually benefited us.
Yes.
It is for the benefit of us. So, when you consider creation or see in this perspective, by doing creation, it is God who has helped us so much. Otherwise, we would not have come into existence itself.
Yeah.
Then how can we spiritually or in any way go forward and all?
Yeah.
So,
but ma'am, before we are doing this topic, I did speak to some people and they did ask me this question, so I'm trying to put it in front of you. So they said, why to create at all in the first place? Only if you create, only we have to go through all these things or go through spiritual process or anything. Why to create only? Why did he bother to create?
No, he actually, that's what I am. That is
Actually,
where I am coming.
12-year-old kid asked me this question.
That is where I am coming. See, the Jivatma even existed before creation. It is only that we are given this particular body. In our next birth, we can even be an elephant. That is possible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Jivatma is everlasting. It is not that he created our Jiva. Pratyusha, you are a Jiva.
Mm-hmm.
And you are everlasting. It is only the form that you have got is for this birth, right? So even when you did not have this form, you would have been somewhere. And even there you will have the happiness, sorrow, everything. It is not that the Jivatma cannot exist. It always exists. But if it should exist in an ultimate salvation state, where it is completely only filled of happiness, it has to go through a spiritual upliftment. And for going through that spiritual upliftment, it needs a body which is made up of the 5 elements so that it can perform spirituality.
So what I understood is that it is already there, but he's helping us by creating all this to bloom into that beautiful flower.
Yes. He did not create the Jivatma. That's existing. Like the Vedas, that's existing. It is only that he gave us an opportunity to come forward.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That's a really good answer. So, um, so what was there before all this creation? Before the creation?
So, yeah, I'll come to that. So
Yeah.
now,
We
uh,
visually, ma'am, we'll just imagine like there is some literally the science has dominated us all. That is the
yes,
knowledge we have in our brains. Even though we have Sanatan Dharma, even though we have a scriptures telling us
of
everything.
course, even now we close our eyes and say universe, only the solar
Yeah,
system which we studied
yeah,
in sixth class will
the
be
whole black sky
wandering in
and
our
the
mind.
planets and the galaxies that is there in my mind. So when I say
Definitely.
before creation, the only thing that comes to my mind is all this vanish and just black screen in front of me.
Blank space. That is what actually was there. You were right.
Oh,
You
okay.
are right, actually.
Okay.
That is what, that's exactly what, what it is.
Okay.
So, before creation, it was, you just consider it as a very blank space. But
Mm.
that space is an existing space. It was not a
Mm.
created space. It is an existing space. And it is the Supreme Lord who lived there,
Mm.
who even lives there.
Mm.
Now, what happened before the creation? There happened destruction.
Yes.
That is what is before creation.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the entire 100 years of Brahma, that is, I'll come to you about the time period later. 100 years of Brahma, there happens this destruction. By destruction, you all know the familiar story that the Supreme God Vishnu, he consumes everything in his stomach. So, being the children of the Supreme God, we all stay in his stomach for so many years. That is why when Yashoda told Krishna to open, she saw the entire Brahmanda in his mouth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we stay there. Now, God, as a small child who keeps his the toe of his feet in his mouth. Kararavindena padaravindam mukharavinde viniveshayantam vatasya patrasya puteshayanam balam mukundam manasasmarami. This is a description of the God who lives at the time when no one else is living. That is before the creation.
Okay.
So, in a space which is completely blank, just as you said, the God lives on a leaf of the banyan tree. Where this leaf of the banyan tree is Lakshmi Devi herself. Lakshmi Devi too, along with God, Supreme God Vishnu, lives from time immemorial. From as much time you could say the God has been living, from that much time it is Lakshmi Devi too who is living with him.
Yeah.
Even before the creation, she was there. She took the form of a leaf, leaf of a banyan tree, on which this child, who is the Supreme God, lies there, who has everything on his stomach. The entire universe consumed in his stomach. So that is the picturization of what it could be before the creation.
Okay.
That entire blank space, what we call as Avyakrita Akasha. So that is where he lives. He had lived before the creation had started.
Yeah.
And then slowly it is the time period. Now, Supreme God Vishnu, be it him or Lakshmi Devi, they are ever living. They are immortal, ever living. You can't associate an age for them.
Okay.
But the time period is calculated not on the time which is in this earth. For example, I'll give you an example. If you go to Mars revolves around the sun more slowly than Earth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, of course, the time period in the Mars is slow than compared to the Earth.
Yeah.
Now, this concept happens even outside the universe. That is what our Bhagavata Purana says. For example, they segregate this time period as three parts: Manushyamana, Devamana, and Brahmamana.
Okay.
So the
Mana,
time period,
whenever you say mana, it's time.
it's the time. Oh no, it's not the time. It's the time period.
Time period. Okay.
Yes, right. So Manushyamana is the time period as according to our people, to the people living on the earth. We'll keep it.
Okay.
This Devamana is the time period according to Devatas.
Okay.
When I say Devatas, it is excluding Brahma. See, a Supreme God Vishnu, he is the center of force. He is the supreme of all. And starting from Brahma, all the other devatas are like a family to Supreme God Vishnu. It is like this is a concept given by Jagadguru Sri Madhvacharya, greater concept of Madhva philosophy. So all these devatas, starting from Brahma, they all are as a family to Vishnu, where it's only Vishnu who is the supreme deity, right?
Okay.
So now there are three classifications of time period. One is the Manushya, the time period according to humans, according to Devatas, and according to Brahma, who has helped in creation. Actually, who has created, but it is Vishnu who made Brahma create.
Okay.
So here Brahma has done the creation, right? But even who created Brahma, then again Vishnu has created Brahma.
Yes.
So he is the king maker. Right?
Yes. Ma'am, the science is saying nowadays, and we are happy to accept with science, but I don't know why do we have so many questions to accept the same thing when it comes to Sanatana Dharma or our scriptures saying the same thing.
That's because of the mentality of the people. That is what I say.
Because the science also has said that apart from this universe, so many light years. So what is light years? There is something else before that, and there was something else which is unknown until now. So the same thing, isn't it?
Yes, of course. That is what I'm trying to convey. There's so much thing. See, after so many years of development, we have just found out 8 planets. Actually, before when I was studying, it was 9 planets. Pluto was Pluto was also a planet. But now I know my daughter is studying in 4th standard. So I'm again revisiting the solar system now.
Yes.
Now I have understood that it is only 8 now. Pluto is not considered as a planet. So they are now trying to find out which is the 9th one.
Yes. Oh, they want to.
They want to find out the 9th one because they're trying to find out the 9th one. But this concept of Navagraha was given some millions of years back in our Vedas and all Granthas, etc.
Yes.
And you have you visited any temple with Navagraha?
Yeah, so many, always.
You would have seen the Surya will be the deity in the center.
The
Navagraha will be around him.
Yes.
That is the concept of solar system. That's what it is.
Yes, that is. Yeah, that is so fascinating, ma'am. We only started going to space and understanding this only from hundreds of years, but what we are speaking is like millions of years ago.
Some millions. That is what they say. The difference, what I feel is, when you approach science, they believe what they see.
That's it.
Right. But here it is more than what is visible. It is the experience in which we believe.
Yes, that is so true. Yeah. Even science nowadays, let's say through psychology, let's say if you have to understand a person, you can only understand when you close your eyes and when you experience it. Just because you get a psychological degree doesn't mean, because you're not seeing what the person is feeling it, right?
Of course, definitely not.
Yeah, so that means you need to experience. So experience is also valid, isn't it?
Of course, yes.
Yes, that is what Madhvacharya Guruji, he did it and he gave it in front of us so easily, so that we just have to follow it.
Follow it, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, the point is, it's a faith. The factor of faith is very important in all these aspects.
Yes.
We may need not have a microscope or a telescope to prove what it is there today, but that doesn't give us a right to invalidate the existence of it. That's what I feel.
Yeah. So what do you think the earliest creation is, ma'am? How many years ago? How many time periods?
See, I would just give a mathematical briefing on it. Okay. So we have 1 year. So what is our 1 year? Our 1 year is 365 days.
Yes.
So 365 human days is equal to 1 day according to Devatas.
Okay, Devamana. Which is
right. Okay. So 365 days, just like it's for an example, I'm saying.
Understood.
For Jupiter, it happens, right?
Yes.
If we complete 4 months, it will be a half of the rotation or whatever they say.
Yes.
See, 1 year of human beings is equal to 1 day for Devatas. Right. So what is 360 years of human being is equal to 1 year to Devatas.
Yes.
So if we complete 360 years, of course it's a very long period, but that 360 human years will be equal to 1 year for Devatas.
Okay.
Now, we are in Kali Yuga. You know that there are 4 yugas.
Yes.
Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. So we are in the fourth one.
And
Kali
these
Yuga.
will keep repeating again, right? They come back again.
It's a rotating process.
Yeah,
It's a complete circle. Again it will take place.
Yes.
Now this Kali Yuga is 1,000 years. According to Devatas. I'm not talking here about our time period.
Okay.
So according to Devatas, it is 1,000 years. So if you want to convert it according to human, you have to multiply by 360.
Yeah.
360 years.
Yeah.
So it will be approximately 36 million some years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this Kali Yuga is 1,000 years according to Devatas.
Okay.
Before it was the Dwapara Yuga. We all know the famous story, Krishna's Avatara, which was in Dwapara Yuga. That was 2,000 years. According to Devatas, again I'm clearly saying it according to Devatas, the Devamana. According to the Devamana, it is 2,000 years Dwapara Yuga. And before that, it was 3,000 years Treta Yuga. And before it was 4,000 years Krita Yuga. This is the time period taken off for each Yuga. So it was first 4,000 years, one Yuga. Then it got reduced to 3,000, then 2,000, then 1,000, which is what we are living in, which is Kali Yuga. Now, this part of what I call Yugas, they take time between them to commence. For example, there is what we call as Sandhi Kala. For example, after the end of the one Yuga and until the beginning of the another Yuga, there happens a time period, right?
Okay.
That Sandhi Kala. If you understand, you can see that in a chemical reaction, before forming a final product, you will have a intermediate product.
Okay.
Likewise,
so ma'am, let's put the Sandhi Kalam into a day perspective so that we can understand clearly.
So I'll tell you. So from the Kali Yuga to Dwapara Yuga, it is 200 years according to Devatas is the Sandhi Kala. So after the end of the Kali, after the end of the Krita Yuga, after the end of the Krita Yuga, until the Kali Yuga comes, it is now we are in Kali Yuga. After this Kali Yuga, again you have to go back to Krita Yuga.
Krita Yuga, yeah.
That takes 800 years.
800
from Krita to
Devamana years.
According to Devamana, yes, according to Devatas. Then from Krita Yuga to Treta Yuga, it takes 600. Treta Yuga to Dwapara Yuga, it takes 400 years. From Dwapara Yuga to Kali Yuga, it takes 200 years.
Okay, so what happens in that Sandhi period, ma'am?
It is mostly that not everything goes inside the Supreme Lord, but a part of it does not exist. A part of the universe. It doesn't mean that entire universe like till the end of the Brahma Kala, it goes inside the universe. But here, this is what we call as Avantara Pralaya, which comes in between all these yugas. A small destructive, what I call Pralaya, which is a flood-like thing takes place.
Right? Which ends the world, basically.
Which ends the world. But not such a big Pralaya, which could end the entire universe.
Okay.
So now, I'll just give you one example here. Now we saw that it is 4,000, 3,000, 2,000 and 1,000 years Kali Yuga. So that is 10,000. Right?
Yeah.
Now the Sandhi Kala together we saw it is 2,000 years.
Yes.
So total this is 12,000 years.
Yes.
Right? According to Devatas. So according to Devatas, if 12,000 years takes place, then it is one round from all the 4 yugas. Right? I mean, am I clear?
Oh, yeah, clear. For me, it's clear. Yeah.
Thank you. So, this is what actually happens. Now, this 12,000 years and many more years considered to one day, which is not a complete day, but 1/2 day of Brahma. There we are coming. That is the Brahmamana. So, now we have this 12,000 years. 12,000 years of Devatas. Devamana, yes. Okay. Likewise, addition to so many years, they say that it is 14 manvantras that happen within a day, not night, a half day of Brahma.
What is a manvantara?
One manvantara has a lot of yugas rotating.
Oh.
Okay. A lot of manvantaras together constitute one day. Okay. So it is approximately, they give us the calculation that 432 years of Devatas constitute a day. 432 years constitute a night, making it 864 years. And this 864 years is like a day for Brahma. And from there, we are going to be having 100 years of Brahma before the Mahapralaya, the complete destruction of the universe, happens.
Okay.
I mean, this 432 is according to 432 million years is according to humans.
Yes.
For an example, for
understood.
understanding, I told
432
human years is equal to a day of Brahma.
432 million years.
Million years. 432 million years is equal to the night of Brahma. So when one complete day of Brahma happens with 864 human years, 864 million human years. And likewise, there happens the 100 years of Brahma.
Okay, so
that is the time period of
Brahma. So we have to keep coming back.
Keep coming back. Now, like the Brahma we have today, Supreme God has created so many Brahmas in the past, which we do not have the count of.
Yes.
And he is going to create so many Brahmas who are going to live all these 100 long years.
Yes.
So that is the time period of the Supreme Lord. We can't say, that's why it's infinite, we say. We can't go on calculating like this, millions and trillions.
It's never ending. No, the same in the science of it's never ending. Because that is what they call light years. Maybe they only found the term light years. Maybe they didn't know the
you have to give it in the 10 to the power of. You have no other. You have no other option, because even we say here it is 432 into 1000 into 1000 into 1000. We say it is a million for us to clearly understand. It can be a billion also. Approximate. It can be a billion also. Just to understand, we are giving it a number. That's it. Such long is the time period of Brahma here. And from there, Brahma is going to live for almost 100 years. 100 years is the lifespan of Brahma. At the end of the 100th year of Brahma, the last day, there we are going to get this Mahapralaya, on which the entire universe is consumed inside the Supreme Lord Vishnu.
And then Sandhi happens, Sandhi period, which is the...
No, this Sandhi period, what I discussed was between the yugas.
Okay,
right? And that Sandhi period is the 100 years again. Which we call as Layakala. That is 100 years of Layakala. And again, that 100 years is not our 100 years. Not the 100 years according to humans, right? So that 100 years of Layakala happens. So at the 1/8, or what I call at the 87.5 years of the Layakala, there again the creation starts. And this process has been repeatedly happening from time immemorial. That's what I can say.
Wow. Oh God. Yeah. And so you also mentioned about the types of creations, ma'am. So what are these types of creations?
So, you can actually divide creation based on so many factors. But primarily, if we take, there are 4 types of creation, which is creation of the God, creation of Lakshmi Devi, Mishra Srishti we call. That is just a creation which is a mixture of creation. Then we have a creation which is not a mixture, but it is a combination. I'll just explain to you. I'll explain all this 4 in one minute.
Yeah.
I already told you that Supreme God Vishnu is ever existing. That means there is no time that he had not been there. His absence is never felt. Right? But how do you understand the creation of God?
Okay.
It is only from the Mula Rupa, he takes so many avatara. That is what is called creation.
Yes.
See, he in his Mula Rupa is Sri Vishnu, Sriman Narayana.
Yes.
And from that Mula Rupa, he takes the Aniruddha Pradyumna Sankarshana Vasudeva Narayana. He takes 2 Rupa Purusha Kala, the first starting Rupas. Then he takes Dashavatara. Then he takes a lot of Keshava, 24 set of avatara, which is called as incarnations, which is called as Keshavadi Rupa. Then we have 51 set of Rupas, which is Ajadi Rupa. So when he takes one Rupa from another Rupa, that is what is his creation. His creation doesn't mean there was a non-existent thing, and from that he came into this universe. So his creation just means he getting on to one Rupa from another Rupa to another Rupa.
Different forms. The same source is the same, but
same
forms.
Different forms, right?
Different
there is
forms.
no difference between all these forms. They are all equal. I'll give an example. You have a diya, light.
Yeah.
which is made of a thread, what you call a light.
Yeah.
Now you lit one more light with that.
Mm.
Does the radiance of the first light comes down?
No.
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 It will stay in its own position.
Yes.
But the second light will also glow
Mm.
as the first light.
Yes.
Likewise, from the Mula Rupa, even though he has created so many Rupas, his Mula Rupa doesn't get over or doesn't have any decreasing portion or anything like that. If you have a clay and you construct a house from the clay, the portion of the raw material clay will decrease,
Yes.
but not in the case of Sri Vishnu.
Yes.
That is why I gave the example of light.
Light.
Because
Mm.
when you light it from one to another, the fire in the light, which was in the first light, will never decrease.
Yes.
It will be in its position. So here also likewise, it is the one avatara, from one avatara again to another avatara is what we call as the creation of the
God.
Paramatma, God.
Mm. Mm.
The second creation is Lakshmi Devi.
Mm.
Now, Lakshmi Devi also is ever existing along with God. So her creation also doesn't come from a non-existent concept. Lakshmi Devi takes so many rupa or so many forms as and when God has taken so many forms.
Okay.
So whenever God takes a form, for example, he took the form of Rupa Vasudeva.
Mm.
She takes the form of Maya.
Yeah.
So whenever he takes a form, she also takes in corresponding form to it.
Okay.
This is the creation of Lakshmi Devi.
Mm.
But here, there is a difference between the creation of God and Lakshmi Devi. When we say that he evolved one avatara, one incarnated form evolved from the another, he is dependent. If he wants, he can. He is not dependent. He is independent. If he wants, he can incarnate. If he doesn't want, he can leave.
Yeah.
But Lakshmi Devi, she is dependent on the God. Whenever he takes the form, she too takes with him. So that's a minute difference between them.
Okay.
So there are two types now.
Yeah.
Now the third creation is what I call as Mishra Srishti, which is in Bhagavata. Now this Mishra Srishti is mixture. Mishra, the word Mishra itself means it's a blending.
Mm.
Now what has been blended? Living and non-living. These both had been blended.
Okay.
When Jiva has been given a body, which is made up of the 5 elements. Like there is a major part which is Prakriti, which is the earth elements. See, our flesh is a non-living thing.
Yes.
Only the Jiva makes it a living thing.
Yes.
So there is a mixture, there is a combination of a living and non-living, which creates a new thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that portion of where humans come is the Mishra Srishti.
I never understood, ma'am, this concept every one of us knows, but when you are saying it, it was so clear. The body without that prana is non-living.
It is definitely a non-living thing. Yes.
Yeah, it is a that prana is a living thing. With that is a beautiful mixture.
So there is a beautiful combination of the both.
Wow.
Right. Okay. This happens now. But here the fourth format, which is in Bhagavata, it says it's Kevala Srishti, which is this is a creation of the non-living thing. The entire universe. He has to create the trees. He has to create the rivers. He has to create the mountains, which are all made up of the 5 elements, of course, but doesn't have a prana like we have. Right. So all those come under this. Actually, they say that if we go in detail, there are 3 guna attributes with sattva guna, rajo guna, and tamo guna. Bringing together all these 3, the creation has been done. And that part of the creation is Kevala Srishti, we call a creation of the universe. Okay. Now, among all these 4 types of creation, there are a particular part of the creation which is done outside the universe, where I called you had a blank space, right?
Yes.
Avyakritakasha. There it is done. A part of the creation is done inside the universe. For example, we all humans are created inside the universe.
Inside the universe, okay.
But devatas are created outside the universe.
Okay.
So, the Brahmanda, I am correlating the word universe to Brahmanda. Yeah. I exactly don't know if it is galaxy or Milky Way or whatever you say it. Yeah. But the creation of the Brahmanda, what we have, I am correlating it with the word universe. Yeah. So, if we take the Brahmanda, what is outside the Brahmanda is the creation of the 5 rupas which you already saw, like Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Narayana. All these forms of the god lies above, I won't say above, in the outer space of the Brahmanda.
Okay.
And then there appears Devatas who are also in the outer space of the Brahmanda. There are some tattvas like you need Panchabhuta to create the universe, because it is the Prithvi, or what we call Earth, the material, raw material needed to create the universe. That raw material is existing outside the universe. So all this thing exists outside the universe, and from those raw material there has been created a universe which has 9 outer linings to it, a lot of more things.
This is just out of curiosity I'm asking. Let's say all these nakshatras, all the stars which we also consider as gods. So that is also, can we understand as the Srishti in the Brahmanda Srishti?
Oh, that's also a part of the Brahmanda.
Yeah.
See, this that's what I saw. This stars, you say they. I'm not very good with this ionic sphere. There are a lot of things they say, right?
Yes.
The particular, you go in an altitude. At one point, you will have this. One point, you will have that.
Yes.
But all the stars, they come within the Brahmanda. What is visible to us definitely comes within the Brahmanda. I'm sure with that.
Okay.
Because that which is outside the Brahmanda, like there are Devatas who have been created, we will not be able to see them.
Okay.
But that doesn't invalidate their existence.
Yes.
There was a raw material from which all this Brahmanda has been created. We may not be able to see the raw material on which this non-living earth has been created. But that's how it is. Be it an Advaiti or a Visishta Advaiti or Advaiti, be it whoever it may be, all agree to the one fact, that is, there can nothing be naturally happening. Everything has a reason behind it. Everything has a creator behind it. Everything.
Okay.
So if an action is happening, there is definitely a consequence to it, and then a reason why it is happening, right?
Yeah.
That also applies to if for example, if a human is created, then you can't say that he is naturally created. There is nothing happening naturally. If something is happening with our control, we would be knowing it. You are respirating for the past 40 minutes. I have been talking to.
Yeah.
Did you face difficulty in having respiration?
No.
Because you did not give your thought in the fact that you are breathing, right?
Yes.
If you actually keenly observe how we breathe, you will not be able to breathe freely.
Yeah.
Even without the knowledge of you, when something is happening inside you, then there is definitely one more person who is the reason behind it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. So before ending this, ma'am, because I really want to do so many podcasts with you on Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Definitely.
But today's topic is about the universe and its creation. You gave such a beautiful discourse about it. Before ending it, as a person or as a human being who follows Sanatana Dharma and who has an understanding about this creation, what would be the difference of living the life, ma'am? What is
once more, can you repeat it once?
Yeah. So, as a Sanatana Dharma follower, if you are a Sanatana Dharma follower, which I am, which you are, okay. So, understanding that the creation, the God is there and the creation is like this, and understanding and being blissful that you have that opportunity. Is there a difference in living life? How differently we should live life?
Of course, there will be. See, when you understand the concept that your creation is done by someone and your existence is for him, then you will definitely have that idea of thankfulness in you towards that person.
Okay.
That is the ultimate goal, to have that. See, so how much you are thankful to the God for giving us this universe, for giving us this entire everything, right? To see, he has given this trees and fruits and vegetables and whatnot. All this he has created for us to enjoy.
Yes.
So when you understand the concept that he has done so much for us, and there is nothing happening naturally, then you will definitely have a concept of gratitude within you. And that is a great difference. A lot of people today do not have a gratitude towards anyone. That is a different point. But
and also not just physical things, ma'am. Not the trees and not the river or all these things which we are using physically for the body. Mentally also, whatever is happening to you or whatever your reactions are, this is also very important. By understanding that there is a superpower, doing all this, I think that is lacking a bit. That is why we are all having all these. I always come back to anxieties and stress and depressions, because right now those are the words kids are struggling, or the human beings are struggling. So maybe by understanding, I won't say that everybody has to follow the Sanatana Dharma, whatever Dharma you are following, but understand that there is a supreme power, the creation is going on. So there is a difference on living, right? Like living that.
Definitely.
Okay. So like in your case, following Madhvacharya and then understanding him, did it give strength to you, ma'am?
Yeah, definitely. That's the reason for my existence, I would say. Because he has, we couldn't name him just as someone who has given us a philosophy. He has given us the way of life.
Yeah.
It's not.
Ma'am, as an example, if you will not mind, I'll ask, I'll just, I don't want you to touch anything personal, but let's say one day you're feeling low. But as a person, you understood that according to Madhvacharya, whatever you're following Sanatana Dharma, there is a God, there is a creation. So what would your thinking process be different, but as a person who understands that?
No, I'll give you one easy thing. There is one, according to the philosophy of Madhvacharya, the primary aim of the human life is to know God and to love Him.
Okay.
With all the strength of mind, heart, and soul. Right? So when I feel low in my mind, or I feel sore in my heart, it is definitely that I have not put my mind in the right path. So just thinking of the basic line of his philosophy itself will again make me deviate to the right path, in the path of spirituality, which will definitely give an upliftment to my mood, or to my whatever you say.
Beautifully said, ma'am. Because recently I've been observing myself as well. Whenever there is something which is hurting me, or whenever there is something going wrong, I immediately think that my time is for my devotion, or my spiritual thinking, my spiritual meditation. Do I really want this half-minded person to go and surrender myself to the God? No. So I will bring back the person who I want full devotion to the God. So I will cut off that person who is not fully there. So that is actually giving me strength. Wow. Such a beautiful podcast. It's a small, short, sweet one. Ma'am, please come back to the podcast again to talk about Ramayana and Mahabharata. Let's do a lot of podcasts, ma'am. Please.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
It was very nice talking to you, having a wonderful conversation. I was just a lot of enlightenment too.
Oh, ma'am, you're amazing, ma'am. And please, let's do more podcasts. I really want to know more about Rama and Mahabharata, not just the story wise, ma'am, the deeper meanings of it, what we have to learn from them. Yeah. Thank you so much. Namaste. Jai Shri Ram.